evening, all, and welcome to the latest edition of the Man United Brothers podcast. Joining me tonight, as always, is Thomas, my co host. How are we, Thomas?
Evening, everyone. I am not too shabby, thank you.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. So, 2-0 win. What's your thoughts?
I know what you want to do straight away. You want me to give you your 3 points because your prediction was right, don't you?
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, right. You got your 3 points. Um,
No.
do you know what, mate? It was all I wanted us to do was win tonight. The performance didn't really matter that much. Like, obviously, it's nice when we go out and we play really good football. It was never going to be that type of game simply because the amount of changes were made to begin with, the force changes. And secondly, I'm gonna. It's tough. Like I'm a Man United fan. I love Man United. I'll always want them to win, and I don't like criticizing players. But two players once again stood out for me tonight. One, David De Gea. He is shot to pieces. He is shot to pieces. Like, yeah, okay, he got a clean sheet. His decision making is just horrendous. Like, there's a couple of times where he's just the one. I think it was their very first chance where he was in the middle of nowhere. He wasn't even looking at the ball, and luckily it went wide. And I just thought that was really weird. He wasn't on his toes. He didn't move. He didn't do anything. And then the other one was he should have come out for it and cleared it. He didn't. Then there was one that he could have came out and picked up, and he's just kicked. And it was just it's not so much his goalkeeping ability. There's no doubt about it. He can save shots. Like that's what he does. It's fine. But we need a keeper that does so much more than that because that's what football warrants at this time. Like football has gone forward now, and you need a goalkeeper who has got a calm head, who can make decisions, and who can start stuff at the back. He's not that keeper.
Yeah, hate to have to agree with you, but I do. And I don't even think, like, they were bigging up his save that he made towards the end there, but I
It
mean,
was straight
I'd have
at him.
saved,
It was
yeah,
straight
I'd have
at him.
saved that.
In fact, when I seen it back again, because I won't lie to you, that second half was dragging, so I ended up watching Ben Askren on the podcast for Ryan Garcia. So that was a boxing podcast. I was
Oh,
listening to
okay.
that as the match was on because it was just like dragging on a bit. But when I seen the replay of it, I was like, why hasn't he held it? Like that's my reaction to it. He could have held that. Like I just don't.
You're
I don't
being a
know.
bit harsh, but I mean, anyone saves it, anyone standing there saves it because it was straight at him. But he's definitely, there's a couple of times, there's one he could have came for a cross. The one that really sort of summed it up for me was the one you've mentioned there about where he just went and randomly kicked the ball. If all day long you slide out and gather that, and for some strange, peculiar reason, he's kicked it and not kicked it up the pitch, like into their half. He's kicked it to, I think it might have hit our player or landed their player's feet, like just at 5 yards outside our box. And it just, he's, what you want your keeper to do is all the things you said and that breeds confidence in your
Yeah,
defence.
yeah.
It's the opposite of what he's doing.
His head's gone. His head is gone. But I was thinking, like at one stage, I thought to myself, one stage earlier in the season, he's playing well. I'd take 50, 60 million for him. That's a lot for a goalkeeper. I'd take 15, 20 million for him now. Or you tell him to cut his 300 grand wages down to 100 grand a week and he becomes our number two. That's where I am with him because if you sell him, you have to get a number two. I don't quite know who that would be. Maybe someone like Peacock Farrell, someone like that. Do you know what I mean? A young keeper who's good shot stopper, and then we cash in under here. I don't think we'll cash in for anywhere near the amount that we could have a season or two ago. I think he's definitely only 20 million. He's not going to be a 50, 60 million goalkeeper now because who would pay that for him?
I think his name dictates that he gets probably 30, 40 million. I agree that they would go back to performances and say, well, he's not doing what he was doing, and he's not even your first choice. So that obviously instantly drops the price. But I don't see it. I don't see him accepting the number two role. And I don't see why I would want to because that seems to be what's shot his confidence to shit as well as the fact that he's got competition and he's just gone further and further behind, backwards since that's
Mm.
happened. So for me, he's been a great servant and was very, very good for a number of years. But once a goalkeeper loses their confidence and doesn't have that, and then spreads, what's the term for unconfidence? I don't know what what the
Fear.
term for that is, fear or anxiety through your
Understanding.
defence. Yeah, you just can't have it. So, you know, Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I would say for us we need to cut our losses in the summer and bring in maybe a young guy. I don't know if we have any younger ones. Nathan Bishop, I think, was in the under 23s. I don't know if he's still there. I'd need to check that to be honest. But yeah, I agree with you. He's just not what he was. And the thing is, you're coming now up to semi final
Who do you
in the
play?
Europa League.
I
Yeah,
don't
for me
I
it's
don't want to head to play.
Dean Henderson.
Hmm. But then that's what I'm saying. Like I'm quite upbeat because we won and we're through to the semi final, which is obviously great. But the fact that we're sitting talking about this just proves to you that these players are standing out as people who are letting us down. The second player is, and everyone knows who I'm going to say, it's Fred. How many times do you give the ball away? Like I've came to a conclusion now, and I was trying to think about it, and I was trying to look up a few stats, but there's no stats really available that says players passing the ball between the lines. So in terms of a number six passing it through the midfield to the number 10, right? That's all I'm interested in because I'd love to know Declan Rice, Ndidi, Phillips. I'd love to know players like that. Just how often do they get the ball to the number 10? Because Bruno Fernandes has scored 24 goals. He's got, I think it was 12 assists this season. And that's with getting the ball from R6, who is shit, who doesn't get you the ball there. I'm thinking Rice, all those players I've just mentioned, gets it to their 10, 50 to 60% more than Fred does. And if they are just converting 5, 10% of them, I bet it's another 10, 12, 15 goals a season for the front players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's baffling. Any wonder we can't get in the front foot and pin teams back? Any wonder we have to play on the break? Because Fred can't play the ball through the lines. Which is mad because that goal that he scored against Spurs was unbelievable play. He got it and he was doing a little one-touch pass and go. Tonight he couldn't pass. He just couldn't pass. He must have lost the ball 20 times, not exaggerating. Must have been 20 times. And it wasn't just from passing it to someone else. He was getting passes coming to him and he's trying to do that smart thing of letting it go past him so he can run onto it. He's not judging the speed of the ball because he's never going to run onto it. He could have put his foot out and controlled it, but he's turned to run onto it and then it's gone, oh, I can't fucking keep up with that ball. I'll try and make a tackle now. It's like he was horrendous tonight.
there's an old saying in football: "His second touch is a tackle," and it's made for Fred
Mm.
because if he even, like you're saying, if he even puts the first touch on it, but even when he does get the first touch, his next one's a tackle because it's a shit touch, and it baffles me. He's the most. I don't know what to call it. He's just I've said it before. He's an enigma. I can't understand him. Like, because I've said it before. When he didn't play last week, you think you miss him. He did that against Spurs second half, and you're like, holy shit! There he is, like busy. Like you're saying, he's doing that with passing. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant to see. If he could keep doing that, and then tonight it's just like, what the fuck just happened? It is so brutal. And then Donny come on at half time, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought, I'm sure we'll go into it a bit more, but I thought Donny was brilliant, right? And what he was doing, his touches he was doing, he was nice play. I really love the way he plays, right? But fuck me, my heart was going out for him because the amount of times he was pulling into space and running off, and he was cracking up. If you watch him, I wish they did player cam still because if you just watched him, the amount of times his reaction was to throw his arms in the air and say, "What the fuck? Just get me the ball." Because Fred was just not passing to him. Matic wasn't much better, to be honest, although he seemed to be dropping in the centre back position quite a lot, to be fair, during the match. But yeah, Fred, he's just killed me. He just doesn't
Yeah,
get the ball out. And I think as I was watching it and as I continued to watch it as the match progressed, the one thing that was screaming to me was we need a centre offensive midfielder, like you've mentioned, ones who pass through the lines. That has to be priority. Priority one. I will keep chopping changes, but priority one for me. If we've managed, you made a really good point there about Bruno's got them goals and them assists with the shit that he's getting behind him. If we manage to get someone straight away, if we get that centre offensive midfield role sorted, someone very good who can take the ball, who can break play up, but who can break the lines and put the ball through, instantly we're a better team.
100%, mate. I think that I think we do have
Oh,
two
I
priorities.
lost you. You're not talking to me anymore.
No, I don't like you, mate. Am I still here?
Anyway, not sure what you're doing.
Am I back again?
So instantly we are with well, as I was saying, yeah, instantly we're a better team. If we get that centre defensive midfielder in there. So
Can
I
you
don't know what you're doing, but I can't hear you.
you can't hear anything I'm saying?
So
Well,
speak,
I'm talking,
speak
mate.
now.
So
You're talking. Have you put yourself on mute?
no, mate. I haven't
What's
pressed
happening?
anything.
You're ruining things. You ruined the whole podcast. Oh my days, he's ruined the whole podcast. This is what I'm up against, guys. Someone who doesn't know what he's doing. So anyway, I'll try and get him sorted quickly.
I'd just like to point out everyone that this.
So yeah, although Sammy Fred, he continues to be that frustration, continues to annoy me. But he's going to. The problem is he's going to play from now until the end of the season. You can't really see anybody else playing unless he's playing McTominay in there with Pogba maybe. Which if he does that, fair enough. Oh, you're back.
I'm back, mate. Can you hear
Speak
me?
now or forever hold your peace.
Can you hear me?
Still can't hear you. Don't know what you're at, Mish. You've ruined it. He's left me on my own. He's just ruined my life. I was just saying, you can do it and agree. I was just saying that the only thing you could do really from now till the end of the season is if you put Pogba in with McTominay. Is really all you can do from now until the end of the season. If you're not playing Fred, so
Can you hear me?
yeah, I know you agree with me. Just nod, say yes, I agree.
The annoying
That's
thing
good.
is,
That's good that you agree.
the annoying
The
thing
other
is, I
ones,
guarantee you people will still be able to hear me, but you can't. It's the first time you've ever started as the host, and I'm not in control of it. And this
you're
is
talking, but I can't hear you, but you can hear me. So anyway, I don't know what this is. He's just he's trying to fix it, guys. Don't worry, don't worry. He is there. I can see him, and I can see he is trying to talk, but he's just no sound. I'm not sure what
I
he's at
really
tonight.
don't understand how I don't have any sound.
He's run the muck. He's run the muck.
Can you hear me
Um,
now?
this is good fun. This is good fun to see if we can actually
Can you
hear
hear me?
Thomas now. No, you're no good, Marshall. You're out of you're gone. Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
Can you
Oh,
hear me?
I hear something. Oh
I've
yeah,
no
I can hear
idea
you
what's
now.
happened. I didn't touch anything. I didn't press anything.
That was peculiar. You're back on. So yeah, as I was saying, the solution from now until the end of the season. Sorry about that, guys. Solution from now until the end of the season for me has to be
Well,
McTominay and
actually, I
Pogba.
was thinking of a different solution. If Rashford stays injured, I
Oh,
would go Van de Beek, McTominay. Because I don't understand why Van de Beek hasn't. He played in that role once and he was unbelievable. We moved the ball so fast and so quick and moved it from defence through midfield to the attacking third effortlessly every time. I remember watching it. I can't remember. Well, that was good. I remember, but I can't remember. I'm not sure if it was on BT or if it was on Sky Sports, but the analysis afterwards was all about how Van de Beek gets the ball forward quick and keeps the ball.
yeah, I agree. Like, and we've been saying it for a long time. Van der Beek should play in that six, but he just doesn't do it. I just don't fucking get it because if he did, on what he did tonight, he just takes the ball, he moves it quickly, takes the ball, he moves it quickly, and I actually thought he did more with the ball tonight than Bruno Fernandes was doing. Um,
Yeah, but Fernandez seems to sometimes when he turns up in a game like this, he just coasts, and it just felt like that. But again, this is and actually that's a good point. Max was saying about Telly's not passing it forward. I put that down to Fred again. So I put Bruno not being so good and Telly's not getting forward down to Fred because they don't want to commit because they know Fred's going to give it away and they're going to get caught out of position. It's the same with I think why Wan-Bissaka's been suffering so much. He keeps getting caught out of position because he's in the right place for a decent midfielder to get the ball through. But then when the ball doesn't go through, he's out of position. It's Fred's fault. It's not Wan-Bissaka's fault. Wan-Bissaka is there to be an outlet, and our midfielder can't find him.
yeah, but I get that in one sense, but at the same time, tonight, I'm not. Bruno's performance wasn't because of Fred. Bruno's performance was poor. He just thought he was a bit lackluster. And you're saying he coasted, he did, but he's given the ball away too much. That's what I'm saying about Donny. When he came on, he gave it away a few times. Don't get me wrong, but he seemed to be doing more with it. And I suppose he's trying to prove a point that maybe Bruno's just coasting through. But that's not when if we had him out there and went 3-0 up at half time, you could take them all off, and you're absolutely brilliant. No worries. And then they get that rest and everything else. But I suppose that was just a frustration, but I think I agree in terms of overall. Fred's just not the right answer, and even when he played at his best, which was probably against Spurs in the second half, he was good, right? But if he comes back in the next match and is so shit, you can't have a player that inconsistent in that key position. Like you say, it's that position that helps your defence out and then dictates your turnover of pace in terms of when you get it back and how you can break.
Yeah, no, I agree. Um, Pogba I thought had a good first 10, 15 minutes. He was doing really well, controlling it. He got that yellow card, which was ridiculous. He should never have got a yellow card. He should have had a free kick or should have just been played on because he had done so well to beast a few boys. His little flick for that goal was incredible. Then he got the yellow card and he was he got the yellow card and then made another questionable tackle after that. And as soon as that happened, he then was off the boil. It was like he couldn't quite get into the game as much anymore because he was too afraid of getting that second yellow card. So that was a real shame.
It was disappointing. He was one thing I'll cover this first and then say actually. Sorry, it was good. I thought, yeah, that flick was brilliant actually, and I think that was purposely done. Perfect wee flick to get Cavani set up. And he was sort of dictating the games the first 10, 15, like he did against Spurs. But yeah, then like you say, the yellow card just sort of drew him into himself, and also we sort of stopped. It was like the goal was the worst thing that could have happened for us. I know that sounds stupid, but it was like, all right, we've got a goal now. We don't need to do anything else. So that didn't help him. But one thing of interest, which you messaged me at the start, which was very interesting, was the fact that Pogba, try it again, was the fact that Pogba was captain ahead of Bruno.
Yeah, but that stood out. That really stood out to me. I straight away when I seen that, I thought he ain't going nowhere. He wants to stay at United because he's got a role to play.
Yeah, and that's whenever you messaged me, and I hadn't thought of it to be fair, and then you messaged me, and I went, that's actually a really good point because, and then when Pogba went off half time, Bruno was given the captain's armband, so it shows you that Bruno's in line, but Pogba comes before him, which must surely, if you read between the lines, or maybe we're just being too optimistic, but surely that tells you something.
Yeah, I think so. I think so,
So,
definitely.
but that's good because I want Pogba to stay, and the Paul Pogba playing the way we know he can is vital, and we did the
Could
right
you
thing. You know,
Sorry,
we did the right.
could you imagine him playing beside Declan Rice? I know it might not be Declan Rice, and I'm okay if it's not Declan Rice, but imagine him playing beside someone proper quality. I like Calvin Phillips, but I liked him when he was in the championship. I said to you straight away when they were playing championships, we need to get him. But judging on his performances for England, I'm not a huge fan of what he does for England. I think that might be a little bit above his level for now, but imagine just anyone who can. Well, McTominay is that player. Let's be fair. McTominay is that player, but we
Yeah, but
need someone who's
McTominay's
consistent. We need someone
yeah,
consistent, and then McTominay can come in and play the Carling Cup games, the the gimme games as such. There is no gimme games. I know that, but do you know what I mean? He's there for to give whoever it is a rest.
yeah. That's the thing. McTominay is inconsistent slot there, and that's the problem with him. One week he's brilliant, the next week you go on the fuck's happening to McTominay, and sometimes it takes him 45 minutes to get going, and that's another frustration. Although in fairness, it takes a lot of our players 45 minutes to get going these days. But I think if you had Pogba in there with a you know kind of say it, a world class, centre defensive midfielder. Um, then do you need to play him as two, central defence? But if you have one very very good one, does that allow then you to put Pogba a wee bit further forward and stuff? So you'd like to think that's what you try to do if you want to, but again, it will give him the freedom to be able to play because at the minute, if you played him in there with McTominay or Fred, McTominay's on form, brilliant, and it works really well. If not, then Pogba's having to cover in as well, which is fine because it does work to a certain extent. But with Fred, he's just not getting the ball and just not getting service, as I've said. So with someone world class or quality, top quality, maybe world class. I'm stretching. But imagine this is completely left field, and I don't know what age he is now, but he's certainly getting on. But imagine Tony Kroos in there. Fuck me, ran that match last night against Liverpool. He drew
Yeah,
0-0, but it's just
he is getting on a bit like, but for me he'd be another. I was going to say Schweinsteiger. That's not who I want to say, but he would be another Schweinsteiger who comes into the league and is just off the pace. Thiago, he'd just be another one of them boys. It's different league.
yeah,
Like it's you can't do it. You just can't do it.
but
Thiago's
what
went
it's
from winning the Champions League and winning everything all around him to fucking he's just pure shite.
but imagine Thiago on our team, genuinely.
Well, yeah, but that's because we're comparing him to Fred. So do you know what I mean? Imagine me in the United team instead of Fred. It would be brilliant. At least I passed to my own player.
Man, I played me. You fucking don't pass your own player.
No, well, they run
Uh,
into the space. I find the space. That's what I do.
yeah, that's what I used to
Well,
do. Put it in the space, back
yeah,
bottom corner.
that's it. There's
But
space over
okay.
there outside the pitch. There's a lot of space. The third person I want to mention who I thought was horrendous tonight was referee. He was horrendous. What is
I have
going
no.
on with refereeing in football at the minute?
It's got so bad. Like even
That
that one
fucking
where,
last one on Diallo.
yeah,
What the fuck?
I've no
How's he,
idea.
how's he not give a free kick there?
It
He's
made no
completely wiped
sense.
him out. And the linesman's looking right at it.
I
I don't,
know.
I
It's
don't
like,
understand it, man. I really don't understand what the hell they're doing anymore.
man, they just don't make decisions anymore. This is a problem with refereeing. They don't make decisions, and not making a decision, it's worse because it's they're just shitting themselves. And I don't know. It's frustrating because VAR obviously isn't going to get involved in that because it's just a foul and the play goes on. But then so he has to. How the fuck can you not see that? I just don't get like between
VAR
them.
could have got involved because could it have been a red card? Last man.
Yes, but if it's saying it's not a red card, then what? They just so nothing changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. They're just the standard refereeing is horrendous, and it's just like we are talking about those same things a lot in these last couple of episodes, but it's just been glaringly obvious. Like, do you know what I mean? For me, just get rid of VAR. No, it wasn't VAR tonight, but VAR has made the refs worse, made them
I
worse.
agree. I agree. But
But
in terms of our players who you thought done well, I thought Axel was good coming in.
yeah, done
Uh,
very well.
so it was good to see. It was one really good block he made coming across the box on the right hand side of the striker and shooting from Luis Suarez, the pound stretcher version of Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
So he done well there. And I thought Telly's actually played quite well.
Yeah, but I think he's a bit of a one-trick pony. He's not. He doesn't really want to go past players. I think he's either got a great cross on him, and he will get a cross in if the players are all in the box. But if they're not in the box, like Max said, he just comes back. Um, Luke Shaw kind of does that too, but at least he overlaps the left winger, which helps. Tellez doesn't overlap at all.
Yeah, I think the problem there is he just doesn't have as much pace, so he's not. He's worrying about getting back too much.
Mm.
Um,
Cavani was
so
brilliant. His movement, his link-up play was fantastic.
again, I know I've said it before, but 2 or 3 games under his belt, and he's sharp and his movement's great. It was good. I think it was the right thing to do. I was sore when I put my predicted team out and left him out, thinking he maybe needs a rest. But I think it was the right idea to play him, give him whatever, give him 55, 60 minutes,
Yeah,
keeps him fresh, keeps him ticking over, gets a goal, and then off he comes ready for Sunday. So no, I think he was very good, and it was a good, right decision.
yeah, man, 100%. Like, so it looks like I don't know if is the Roma game over.
Yeah, Roma game's over, so we'll play them in the
Roma
next
in the
round, the semis.
semi-final. Yeah.
What do you think of
Is
that?
that is that two legs again?
Yeah. As far as I know, unless they've changed it to one, but no, it was always
No,
two.
as
Like.
far as I know, it is one, two. Sorry, where is the first leg? Do we know yet?
Ooh, I'm sure that's done in the draw, but I'm,
I'd like the second leg to be back at Old Trafford. Like,
we seem to be better when we're away. So if you go over there and get a good result, I'm just seeing if it's
uh-huh.
updated or not. It's not updated there.
No, it's just saying a BT Sport Man United into semi-finals, but it means nothing unless we win the semi-finals. In all honesty, because we've been struggling 4 semi-finals, so Oscar's got to
Yeah, I know, mate. That's the worry, like, isn't it?
and done nothing. But in general, mate, as a team, like as the whole United team tonight, I'm not going to bash them and say we didn't play or we were shit and all this. We won 2-0 and we done what we had to do. We had a 2-0 lead. It's hard to go. We could have done what Spurs done. We could have went and sat back and conceded and conceded and conceded. We didn't do that. We went out. We showed positive. Yeah, we showed. Yeah, we did. We showed positive intent to begin with. We got a goal, and then we didn't sit back, but we didn't go for it. We just kind of it's just kind of blah. Do you know what I mean? No, and that's all we had to do though, because we just had to get through it. Because we've bigger, not that we've bigger fish to fry, but once you get that goal, right, you know it's done. So straight away you're like, right, subconsciously in the back of their minds, we have a big game on Sunday. So we need to get 2 days rest now, which isn't as much as whatever other people are getting because they have played on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Burnley haven't played all week. So they do just coast as a team. They coast. Like Matic for me done nothing tonight. Didn't do anything wrong, but didn't do anything either. So he was just kind of just there. Same as Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, no, Wan-Bissaka was the same. He made a couple of good tackles, but he was kind of just there. It just seemed like that sort of performance. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. Like, and just so you know, we face Roma first leg at home, so second leg's away. Um, so yeah, I agree with you in that. In terms of, it's what we said before. It's what we said about last week. A professional job done. We won 2-0. You know, we were never. They had a few chances, but we were never really under threat. Um, and yeah, we went out, got an early goal, and I said earlier in this podcast that was almost the worst thing to happen, which sounds stupid, but it did just then allow us to just coast. So it's not a bad thing actually when you think about it.
No,
It's annoying when
I would have much preferred what we done tonight as opposed to holding on and them having the few chances they had, because then it just makes that a little bit more nervy.
yeah, and that's what I mean. You know, when you're watching, it's frustrating because. And I think especially because you watch that second half against Spurs and you know what we can do when we actually turn it on and start playing, you know, the way we can. So that's why it's even more frustrating. But the fact of the matter is we're 1-0 up, which made 3-0 overall. They weren't going to catch us, so we just coasted and then we got a
Mm.
second goal. Yeah, their player decided to put it in, I think, because Mata missed it, surprised them. But, you know, 2-0, 4-0 over two legs against a team who, you know, they're all right. They put out Napoli, and Napoli are a good side. So, you
Mm.
know, yeah, it's a professional job on both legs. It's not swashbuckling, exciting football, but at the same time, you know, who cares if you go through? You know, at this
Yeah.
stage of competition, who cares if you go through? If, for example, if we do that in the semi and get to the final, I won't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Right?
I'll probably still
Is
moan, but
Jacko still play for Roma?
yeah, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake,
I'm
he
just
scored
watching
tonight.
him score. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wondering who that was. Yeah, mate, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Roma. But
I
then I
wanted
thought we
Ajax.
would have. I thought we would beat Leicester. To be fair, we should be beating anyone that we played. Any of the teams that are left in this competition, I think we're better than. So it's just about how we turn up and play on the night.
Yeah, well, I said do I wanted Ajax, so and really probably just because of the Jacko factor, I just don't like playing against him.
Fuck
He's
me.
not he's not he's not he's not you know world class or anything, but he's just one of them strikers that's always annoying, I think. But in terms of where they are, they're seventh in the Italian league. You know, we beat Milan, who are second, and that team Granada beat Napoli, who are fifth. And I know you can't judge everything in league positions, and it becomes slightly different in the cup competitions, but you know, in terms of that, when you're looking at it that way, you should say, you know, we should have enough on paper. We definitely have enough to beat them. It'll all
Well,
depend on fitness and players and who's available and everything else. But if we turn up and play our way, we can turn them over
I
two
think
legs.
the
Like,
fact that it's two legs suits us massively, because we know what we're like whenever we need to get a result on the second leg. Do you know what I mean? We tend to turn up then, don't we?
yeah,
If we
yeah,
need it. But like you said, if we can, oh, you said we're at home first leg, so
yeah.
if
Home first leg on the
yeah,
29th of April, and then the second leg away on the 6th of May.
so that's only 2 weeks then.
Yeah, but man, if
Um,
we just do it 7-1 again at home against Roma, we're flying.
that would be nice, mate. I was thinking about that earlier. I was in Lorette de Mar that night, drinking Hulk juice on rugby tour. A rugby tour at my day that I never brought a rugby kit to because I had no intentions of playing rugby.
It's good. That's just how your rugby career went. You fucking bum.
Back in the good old days, mate, when we just went for to drink for 4 days. The bus came to pick us all up to go to the tournament, and my door knocked, and I said, "I'm fucking playing rugby. What's wrong with me?" I opened up a
There's
can of
the,
beer, 7 in the morning, and kept going.
you can't get away with that now, mate. Or even the Leicester players, even when you turn the lights out and hide, you can't get away with.
Wow, mate, I couldn't. I don't think I'd be able to get just having one drink nowadays puts me ass. So no, couldn't do it. Yeah, mate. So no, all in all, like we'll take it. You know what I mean? I'm happy enough with how we've done and we've got through. So that's the important thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So then our
And
attentions.
and and also just you brushed past it quickly at the start, but just I predicted it right, so that's
Oh
just
yeah, well, even a broken clock's right twice a day.
you must
Someone's
be thinking
been
that one.
listening
You
to
must have.
no, I've been listening to Simon Jordan, mate, and I used it the other day, and Jason's just looked at me. I won't tell you what she said. It was very rude, very very rude.
I agree with you.
Burnley Sunday. Let's look forward to that. Then I'm going straight away with my prediction because I'm sick of you jumping in first. 3-0.
Right, okay. 3-0?
Yeah, we got
Did you
smashed.
go in big like
Yeah, because mate,
2-1?
we're Man United.
I'm saying 2-1.
So it's 4 o'clock Sunday, so we've got a decent enough rest. Did you know that last week when we played on the Thursday night against this crowd, we stayed over there on the Thursday night and didn't fly home until Friday?
Yeah, we're back until Friday lunchtime.
Yeah, so I think that's a good thing because we're doing a lot of stuff differently than we used to do. Because I remember
But it's,
last year we flew home and didn't arrive home till like 2 o'clock in the morning one after a European game.
yeah, but when you think about it, it's actually quite smart because reality being, you want players to go and then they go into the hotel to sleep, to get a proper night's sleep, and then you go the next day. Whereas, like you're saying, if you come home when you're 2 in the morning, then that whole night's sleep's ruined. Let's see you get back to the airport, then they have to get back to their homes. You know what it's like yourself. Coming back, it's slightly different, yes, because we maybe come back with kids and come back with a wife and all the rest of it. But you get back into the house and then it's going to take you like maybe an hour to get home and then half an hour in the house, sorting things out. So by the time you're in bed, it's about 4 o'clock if you're
Mm,
coming back in. So you know what I mean? It's a fucking nightmare. Whereas you
yeah.
go sleep in a hotel and then you're sorted. So it makes sense, and I agree. A common sense approach, which I like.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the difference from last season. So maybe they're just looking at it and thinking, actually, it's not about getting home and getting your own bed. It's about getting rested up where we are and being, like you said, practical about it and thinking about recovery. And I think they might have even had a training session on the Friday morning in their and wherever they were training there in one of the team's facilities there, and then flew home. Which
They
I
did.
honestly I was really impressed by that because then we went out against the Spurs. We had obviously the poor 45 minutes, but then the second 45 minutes we came to life. So let's hope that tonight the boys get home early, put their little heads down, and yeah. But I don't know about Burnley. Burnley are such a funny one at the minute, aren't they?
Well, the thing is, man, if you turn up and we play Henderson back in net, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, you probably say, I'm saying McTominay, Pogba, Rashford, Bruno, Greenwood, Cavani. If you play that team, you should have enough. Like,
He should do, mate. But we know what they're going to do. They're going to sit back. They're going to sit deep, and they're going to try and catch us on the break. They're going to try and get free kicks and get corners, and that's what they'll play on, set pieces. So we just need to be smart, and that's another reason why I wouldn't play Fred because he gives away too many stupid free kicks.
well, I wouldn't play him just in general. Definitely not. It would be McTominay and Pogba in there. And the other thing will be because thinking about it, McTominay and Pogba is 6 foot plus. Fred's 2 foot fuck all. So when you're talking about Burnley free kicks and all, it's better to have the height in there as well.
Mm.
But that's just a bonus in terms of who Pogba and McTominay. The fact of the matter is Fred's just shit. But what we should be doing, I've said this so many countless times, and whether we do it or not, probably not. But if we go out and get an early goal and draw them out, then it allows the space for us. Reality being, we'll probably let them score first and then maybe get a goal and then they shit
Yeah.
themselves and we get another, hopefully.
Well, see,
But
this would be the perfect opportunity for Rashford's obviously a little bit injured. He's kind of nickel still. I wouldn't actually start him in this game. I would prefer to have Van de Beek either on the left or Pogba on the left, and then crowd the middle with Van de Beek and Bruno Fernandes because we're going to need to pass it around them. We're going to need to pass it through them when they sit deep, and that's not Rashford's strength.
yeah, I fully get your point, and I have no problem if I see the team lineup. Pog was on left, Donny was playing six, but it won't happen.
Not even as a six, though. We could be playing a little bit more forward, but it's the same old conversations. It'll be interesting to see because at the same time, he's not played against the Burnley before. You know what I mean? He doesn't have big Chris Wood in the Dutch league smashing him every time he gets to Tarkowski standing all over him and ragdolling him. And like it is different. And I'm not knocking Burnley, by the way. I think what they do and how they play is fantastic. They play with the cards they're dealt.
Did you just say ragdolling him?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You never heard that expression before?
I'm cautiously asking you because I'm worried where it's going to go. I've never heard that now.
You
Just
ragdoll
throwing
someone.
him around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just the way you say it makes it sound dodgy as fuck.
You know, like
He's
when
ragdolling him
Kerry ragdolls you.
all the time, mate,
Like
all the
that sort
time.
of thing. No,
Well,
so
Burnley got beat 2-1 by Newcastle last
I
weekend.
know.
Although, like you say, they have a week.
That means
So,
nothing, though. It
I
means
know.
nothing what Newcastle do. It's crazy. Have you heard of stuff about Newcastle just randomly off piece quickly?
What?
Newcastle, the people who were trying to buy them in Saudi Arabia, they are the same people are now trying to sue the Premier League or something like that because they leaned on Boris Johnson and said, if you don't make this happen and push it through,
it'll interfere with our country's relationship, Saudi Arabia and England's
Shut
relationship. Yeah,
up.
proper nuts, mate. It's all came out this morning. It was on. I was reading it on Talk Sport. And that is what I've just give you there is an absolute terrible synopsis of it. But that was the gist of it, basically. I think it's actually Mike Ashley's trying to sue the Premier League, and in the background, the Saudis were pushing pressure on Boris Johnson, saying you need to make sure that this buyout goes through, or it's going to affect our relationship.
That's just fucking mental. But surely Newcastle want to be like this. I don't get the Newcastle thing. Mike Ashley says he wants to sell them, but anyone that comes to buy him, he doesn't fucking sell them.
No, the Premier League stopped it because they said it was dodgy money.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the Premier League vetoed it, said no, ain't gonna happen. Don't know why.
Random, mate.
No idea
They're
why.
the
But
they're the ultimate sleeping giant, Newcastle, aren't they? You know, they're that team that everyone thinks is a good. You know, you always remember the Newcastle that challenged us, and then Kevin Keegan shit the bed. You always remember them playing that lovely football and being a big team. They get massive crowds and everything else, but they don't really do fuck all actually.
mate, if coronavirus was a football team, it would probably be Newcastle. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's an interesting. That's another shit synopsis.
No, on that bombshell.
Oh, that bombshell. Right. So, look, good night. Professional job done. We'll keep it short and sweet tonight. Not too much to go into. We won 2-0. That's what we want. Professional job. Roma in the next round. Hopefully, we can do another job, get to the final. It's massive. It's a massive semi final because this
Mate,
is a hurdle that we.
Stop looking beyond Burnley, please.
I'm just saying that it's a massive semi final. We need to get past that hurdle. But before that, I hadn't finished. But before that, we need to focus again back on Sunday because we need to beat Burnley because Man City are in the cup this weekend, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And Leicester.
So if Man City can beat Chelsea,
now.
yeah. So Chelsea beat Man City, that'll be lovely. But that means we close the gap, and you know what I mean. So it's back on.
I'm more interested in making our gap bigger between Leicester and Chelsea and putting pressure on them, so they need to go and get a result.
Well, that too, but I want to just close the gap as much as possible. City, I said to you before, you know, you're telling me there's a chance, but I know, you know, reality, I think City win it, but to close the gap as much as possible is always what we should be aiming to do. I agree. Yes, move away from the third place, so we definitely have second cemented. But close the gap as much as you can. Delay them win the league as long as possible. So, but yeah, let's focus on Burnley. Hopefully, we get that team out and we start well and play the attacking football that we played against Everton, if you remember, but also combine that with good fucking defence.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, as I say,
if we could do Everton in the first half and Spurs in the second half, if we play like that, then we're sweet.
We're sweet. So until then, have a good weekend. Enjoy. Weekend starts tomorrow, so have a good weekend. I know in England there's a few restrictions lifted. You enjoy yourselves, and of course, as always, let's remain brothers united. Good night. Good luck.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.